Okay, so this is my Pecha Kucha on what I create and why. I pretty much create small electronic projects where I make the circuit boards and do all the design behind them. I got my start from class uh, Digital Electronics, one of the Project Lead the Way courses. Mr. Haas was pretty much the main drive towards taking this class because he is my favorite teacher. So I wanted to take as many classes that he offered at the high school, and this is one of them. Funny enough, I did surpass the knowledge that he has on electronics in my experience. So I started going to the town dump where I would find old printers and old DVD players, and I would completely strip away the plastic casings pretty much and take out the electronics and circuit boards and take components off of them. So I'd go dumpster diving inside of the storage bins where there would be just mounds of old electronics that people threw away. So I pretty much repurposed everything that I found in the dumpsters to make something new. So here's a type of VCR that I would find. Something older because the components on the circuit boards were generally bigger and easier to take off, so it required less time and just easier. Here's my box of boards that I've taken off of different electronics. There's phones, laptops, battery chargers, Guitar Hero guitar components, and all sorts of stuff. And I pretty much, like I said, I just reuse all the components and turn them into different interesting projects which I find online or I think of myself, and just repurpose everything. So a green approach to electronics. This is my workbench that started out pretty much for RC cars, which you can see in the top, and it's pretty much served well. It's quite large. I have my music set up, and it serves well for what I need to do, which is just simple soldering and different things. I had to expand to a larger shelf with other compartment shelves on it because I was just getting too many different pieces from things that I found at the dump, and I needed more room to work on my desk. So this is one of the first projects I made. It's a metronome that I put inside of a iPhone case, and pretty much it was the first project that I made, and I found the schematic online and followed it pretty much entirely because I had no idea what I was doing. I was just putting it together. Then I found another schematic or project, and this is a light synthesizer which uses a light on the end of a wand and it's distanced to a sensor to make a noise when you hit one of the buttons. I modified this one. So this is pretty much my next big project, one of the biggest ones I've done wire-wise, and it was a coin counter. I wanted to make this one because I had a lot of coins, and instead of manually counting them to figure out how much money I had, I wanted to just roll them down the slot. This is my favorite project to date. It's a little car robot that uses a sensor on the front to drive around, and when it sees a wall or any obstacle in front of it, it will back up, turn a couple degrees, and then continue forward again until it sees another obstacle. This was a project for school, which is a wireless car temperature gauge, pretty much, and you can turn on a heater inside of your car to heat up your car in the winter without ever having to turn your car on, which saves gas. These are my next projects. They're similar to the first car robot, and when they're finished they will be like a train that will follow each other, except they will not be connected by any physical means, just by space. here's another project which is smaller. These are called beam bots, and they pretty much just refer to not using a battery to power them, but they use a solar cell and collect light and use it in little bursts to move around. So I want to go to SUNY Geneseo to pursue engineering. Now they don't have a engineering program per se, but I will get my gen eds done there and some physics and math courses, and then transfer to a school where there is an engineering course. That way I can get a degree and a job. So after about 2 years I'll be moving to another college with a engineering department and furthering my knowledge of engineering, which will be building on everything that I've self-taught myself over about a year and a half. One day I want to start my own business that pretty much helps develop other interesting projects, things that everyday consumers can use and go out on the store shelves and buy and say, oh, this is cool, or I want to get this for Christmas next year. So circuits can get pretty complicated, and that's why I need the knowledge, because pretty much where I'm at now is a standing point where I can't think of how to make circuits on my own, and I heavily rely on the internet. So I'm going to be able to make them on my own.